Guys, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to work with functions that has arguments and return values. The syntax is we have here our data type followed by our function name and then the arguments here. Then as we call the function, we call the function name and then supply the needed arguments. Now when we define it, so start with our data type, the function name and then the arguments, and then since it is a return value, we use here return and then the variable that holds the value in our program. Okay, so let's continue with our program that computes for the simple interest. Okay, then we have here our prototype. So we need to declare our data type first, so we use float followed by the function name, simple interest, and then the arguments. This program would require 3 arguments, so we're going to use this type here, float, and then float. Okay, like I mentioned before, there are several options. So in this case, we could also use here float, simple interest. Then you could also include here the variable name, float r, and then float t. Okay, but this one will also work. So once we have prototyped it, the next thing to do is for us to go write items in our main functions. First, let's declare our variable float, principal, rate, and then time, then simple interest. Let's prompt the user to enter the principal, okay, rate, and time. Okay, there. Next is we input the values p, r, and then t. Okay. Then let's use our variable simple interest is equals to, let's call the function now, simple interest, then supply the arguments needed. So first argument is our principal, second is our rate, and then the third is time. Then after that, we need to have here our output, which is okay, the simple interest is okay. Then our variable that holds the value, which is si. There, and then okay. So we already have our main program for our main function. Then this one here, this is our, take note, this is our function call. Let's now write our function. Let's copy this section. Okay, let's remove the semicolon, replace it with open and close square brackets. Now we need to identify now here in this section what variables will hold for each value in our argument. So the first one will be used for our principal. This will hold our rate and this will hold our time. Next is we're going to use here float, simple interest, and then let's compute the simple interest by using simple interest is equals to principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time, then divided by 100. Then we need to return the answer back to the main function, that is to use return, and then the variable that holds it, which is si. Okay, so this is our program. Let's test. Okay, now it's prompting us to enter the principal, rate, and time. So let's input some values here and then enter. Then we have it. Okay, so let's have a review. Again, this is our prototyping section. If we're going to have functions with arguments of return value, here is our return value, which is a float type, and this section here is our arguments. Take note that this function here, simple interest, requires 3 arguments, so you need to have here 3 values. This one here is our function call. that when we call the function, it requires again 3 parameters. So we're supplying this one here, prt, and then the value of p, as we call the function, we pass into this first argument. R is passed here to the second argument, and t is passed here to the third argument. Then since it returns a value, so we compute for the simple interest, and then the answer is stored here in SI, then we will return SI here back to the main function, and then SI here will hold the value, and then this one will display the result of our simple interest program. Okay, so I hope you like the video. Thank you for watching. Bye.